Let's do
I
the
didn't
thing.
cut my hair today.
I see
It's
that.
long today.
Let's do the thing then, brother. Hold up. A CC, the actual CC in the channel minute. CC, a great morning to you, brother. Thank you so much for spending some time with us today, man.
I appreciate you guys letting me spend time with you guys.
Bro, truly a pleasure. I feel we were talking about it just now in the pre-show here, but I'm getting a little bit of heat from my boys. I'm not gonna be fussing about this to ScoMo, my fellow Giants fan, but I am indeed rocking the throwback Warwick Dunn here for you, CC, in honor of our guest.
I think it's respectable.
I think totally.
You fit in well with the rest of the show today, then.
That's exactly right.
With the whole background.
That's what I'm saying. It's an aesthetic really that I was going for.
It is. It just looks good.
Yeah, it's much
Even
better.
though I tell you what, I don't like the colors of the Falcons jerseys normally.
Really?
Like I'm not the red and black. It gets to be a lot sometimes to me.
True indeed.
I like the new ones. I like the new ones much better. I like kind of a cleaner, easier look in my jerseys personally.
Yeah, these ones were a lot. I mean, the ones right, but so these are the ones where like they had like the thing that came up the side. What was I think the Vikings were like the first ones with that kind of like pants into the jersey thing that like came up a little. You know what I mean? And then they all kind of redid them. But I agree, the new Falcons ones are a little more fresh. But CC, man, the kind of the point of getting together all you super dope creators to sit down for a little while is to get at a little bit of the of your origin story, because even for how many hours of CC content I've been a viewer for and I've enjoyed, and way before I booted up a stream or anything like this, it's like you don't often have occasion to like talk about the details and the story and kind of the path that you've walked en route to what you think are important now. I know you're a family man, and you're been massively successful, of course, but that doesn't happen overnight. So that's kind of the idea and the point here, is to get at a little bit of your origin story so we can better understand, the dude that we spend so much time with, virtually, I suppose. But bro, so I mean, I guess maybe we could start. Where did you grow up, CC, and what did the family home look like? Did you have siblings, mom and dad around? Where's CC's born day at?
Oh, I was born in Canada, so I'm not from here, right?
I didn't know that.
And so I lived there for a while. And then we moved down to Virginia. It was all for my dad's work.
Okay.
And then we moved down to Georgia after that. So I've been here started in like the end of middle school all the way up here. So this feels more like home to me now. Obviously I wasn't born here, but this is where home and all the memories and everything sort of came to fruition. So
settled in at Georgia. You were bouncing around a bit as a youth. I also moved quite a bit, and I remember I don't know. I don't have good memories about moving, but it sounds like you were able to kind of settle in once you got to Georgia in 6th grade.
Yeah. Once we got here, it was just like, okay, so this is what we're going to be doing finally,
right?
Because I was really upset moving away when we moved from Canada. Like,
sure,
that crushed me because I didn't know any different, right? And then when we moved to Virginia, we were only there for like 2 years, so then it was just like picking up and leaving again. And I didn't know where was going to be home officially, but then just ended up here, and I was like, I actually like it here.
Yeah.
And then decided I'm just going to stay.
Nice.
And convince ScoMo to come up here. So
I imagine that's got to have a lot to do with the Falcons origin story, right? Where did you start locking into football once you got to Georgia then?
Yeah, it was around I'd probably say high school time.
And I think I'm a couple years older than you, right? I'm 31. When did you graduate high school, CC?
I can't tell you that. We got to keep some stuff a mystery.
I like that. I think you've dropped it at some point. I don't know.
Yeah, no. I will say I am older than you.
Okay.
But no, football for me, I've always liked football, right? But I watched CFL, obviously, Canadian Football League.
Interesting.
We didn't really get a lot of NFL programming and stuff, but when we did, it was either the Vikings or the Bills. Was basically all that we would get up in Canada. And so I watched just a little bit of that, or like the Super Bowls and stuff. And then when we moved to Virginia, I thought I was going to be Washington, right?
Right.
And so I was like, okay, like, but I still wasn't really into football at that point. I was still too young for that. You know, my dad's not really into football a lot.
Sure.
My mom was, but then once we moved here, then it was like, oh, okay, your fandom really starts to grow.
Sure.
And then obviously once Vick was here, then that sort of took everything over the top.
And that's not just that wasn't just
for
Falcons
basically
fans
everyone.
either. Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say.
It was huge.
Right.
I mean, Vick is probably still the most popular Falcon. Despite everything that happened and went through and how it kind of like hurt the team, it kind of built the team back up. And I mean, you go to a Falcons game, there's way more 7 jerseys than anything else.
Yeah, man, I believe it. And he kind of, in my, like, I understand that, you know, some things are just unforgivable, but I see Vick kind of as a comeback story, the right way to call it. Yeah. I mean, he served his debt to society. He really turned things around. I think he was, from what I've read and what I've gathered, really a product of his environment and the culture that he was kind of submerged in growing up. And it was kind of just, you know, what they did at the point. And of course, not to excuse it nor explain it away, but afterwards, I don't know, you know, what your take on it was. It really seems like he made a full turnaround from some of that darker stuff.
It sounds like it, because I don't hear anything, whether it's mainstream media or not,
right,
about him in situations anymore. So it's good, you know. Like I was happy when he came back, even though it wasn't for the Falcons. You know, happy to watch him and have him have his success, and to see him sort of kind of grow and mature past it all. Because, I mean, that's tough. That's tough. Sure. I don't know how many people would have the strength to not just, you know, pay your dues, but to come back and try to make something back of your life after that. I didn't think he was going to come back. Personally, no. I thought he was done. I thought, all right, so he's never going to be around again.
Right.
So just sort of move on, right? And then obviously we had our dark years once he left, and then Matt Ryan came along.
What do you think about Matt Ryan?
He's the greatest Falcon, personally, to me.
No shit, really?
Oh yeah. Matt Ryan is still severely underrated and will always be severely underrated, just because he blew the game, obviously.
Yeah.
But other than that, like, if they win that game, you know, or if he when they played San Francisco in the NFC Championship game before, he makes the right pass at the end of the game there, when he decided that he was not going to pass to Tony Gonzalez for the first time in his career. I don't know. Like, watch the tape. Tony G is wide open.
Right.
They doubled Roddy. It's just unfortunate, right?
Totally.
How little moments can define a career as opposed to the breadth of everything else that he's done.
For sure.
The winning, you know, we don't win like the Patriots win, but they've won a lot. He's thrown for a lot of yards. He's on pace to break all the records if he just keeps playing.
And it seems like he's got some years left in him too. And I'm not asking this, you know what I mean? I'm not asking this in a troll way, for sure not. Just because, you know, even as a secondary Falcons fan, I still remember it. Do you remember like any particular bits of your experience of that Super Bowl? And we could gloss over this quick, and we'll get to the good Madden stuff. I certainly don't want you to, you know, have to walk around in this at all. But do you have like
no. So I don't normally drink at home by myself.
Sure.
But I remember drinking because I was like, this is going great.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, once things started going bad, I just felt in my head like, we're going to lose. I know we're going to lose.
Yeah.
And that wasn't even like an Atlanta sports feel like there's a curse or anything like that. It's just, as with any sports fan, when you're rooting for your team, anytime something bad happens, you're like, oh, we're done. We're fucked, you know?
Right.
Fucked here.
And it just felt like that.
Happen.
Yeah, it just felt like
we couldn't stop it.
Right.
You know? But would there be is it because they blew the lead that was so great? Or is it because they lost? What if they would have lost 34-28 normally?
Yeah.
Is there some stigma about it? Because to me, a loss is a loss. I don't care how bad they lost. I don't care that they blew a 25-point lead. I don't care about that. At the end of the day, they lost. If they would have won by 1, I would be great. As
Still
opposed to winning by 25. I wouldn't give a shit.
For sure.
You know, how much they lose by, it doesn't bother me. You know, like, I didn't play for the team.
Right.
I did not get a ring. Right. I wasn't getting one if they won. You know, if I would have, maybe I'd be a little more upset. Right. I was just upset.
Right.
You know, it was like, oh, all right, we'll be up tomorrow morning, I guess, you know?
For sure. So, I mean, so were some of these early Falcons teams like the Mike Vick with, you know, Peerless Price and Warwick Dunn and TJ Duckett, I remember in the backfield, that was lit. Mm-hmm. Is this when you're really tapping into Madden, or did you tap in 04? Had you been playing before then? Where does video games enter the fray for you in the life story?
So I've played like all sorts of Maddens through growing up.
Mm-hmm.
But I wouldn't have considered myself like a Madden player. Like, I wasn't lining up and getting it every year at all. The first year I truly remember getting it was Vick's year.
Yeah, me too.
And remember just playing that constantly. But I didn't get the game every single year. I actually played much more NCAA from like 01 on.
Interesting.
Because that was just more fun to me.
Mm-hmm.
Like Madden was great, but I wasn't an online gamer of any stretch for a long time.
Sure.
So playing Madden was very like, oh, build your team, and then all of a sudden you just start winning. So I much more enjoyed playing NCAA and building up a team through recruiting and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Again, all offline, and going through that process. You know, graduating players, getting new players, seeing if you can break these records and all that. That was much more fun to me than the Madden's very strict sort of cut with the teams and how it worked. But I didn't play a lot after that because that's when I was starting to like go through life a bit more. Like,
yeah,
I'm going out, you know, I'm dating and doing all this. So games were just secondary for a long time, actually.
I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, they just weren't that important to me. I still had my consoles and stuff, but I didn't play a lot. You know, I think the game I probably played most up through like 2009 would have been like NHL 07 or something like that. Where again, I just, you know, just kind of like, oh, I want to play a hockey game again. Just played that, you know, by myself.
For sure. I mean, it sounds like some of the early appeal for you playing NCAA, like the team building, the recruiting, the graduating. Yep. I mean, a lot of that plays into you know, Ultimate Team, I suppose, and at least the team building aspects and whatnot. Mm-hmm. So, but I'm a little bit surprised. So when did Madden like become a thing then? So it didn't happen early. It seems like you're bouncing around a little bit. You had your living life a little more strongly. When did Madden become, you know, CC as we know him now involved with Madden? When did that trajectory start?
I think it was Madden 12. I think.
Okay.
Where we had some friends who wanted to start doing like a CFM, right?
Mm-hmm.
But not an online CFM initially. First, it was just like, hey, we'll just go over to these people's house on a Saturday or whatever.
Right.
We'll play a couple games, come back, we'll do it again. And then we got into the online in 13. And it was like the first time I'd ever like really played games online. I never did anything like that, whether it was Halo or all the news games. I didn't do any of that.
Yeah.
So I started to sort of realize at that point by like, oh, okay, well now I'm playing online in here. I can just play online in regs games and stuff like that. So I started just playing more and getting better and started really beating everyone in the league. And doing that was just, it became less fun, you know?
Right.
When the skill gap grew enough to where I was like, there's maybe one guy in the league who's going to give me a tough game here or there. It is what it is. But I was like, let me just play more online.
Right.
And so that sort of bled into 25. And then right when 25 switched over to next gen, so with the Xbox One,
yeah,
I was like, I don't even remember what year was that, but I was like, I was going to try Ultimate Team out. Like I'd gone into it in 13, but I was like, I don't really know what this is, right? Mm-hmm. Like looked around, And so I started watching videos on it for a long time from other creators, but just not playing it myself because again, didn't really know what was going on. It was super confusing to me because I'd never really thought about anything like that. And then once I sort of made the jump into it, I was like, okay, this is kind of fun.
Yeah.
But I know everyone talks about how now, like, oh, Madden's so pay to win. It's like, go play Madden 25. You couldn't earn any coins playing that game.
Right.
There was no way to, like, oh, I'll play seasons and you would get 1,000 coins. Like, okay. There was no incentive to play. So you had to spend money and everything was, not expensive because there was no cards that were actually really, really expensive.
Right.
But it was still really hard to earn the coins or whatnot. So, and that's when I was like, I guess I need to spend money.
If I could ask, what were you mentioned a couple of creators that you were watching before, as you're learning about the game, like what the heck is Ultimate Team in the first place? If I could ask, what were some of the guys that you were listening to or watching early on?
The three for sure that I watched were Tex. And then from that, I saw some Berg stuff.
Cool.
And then Addy cards and stuff.
Interesting.
So that's like, because Tex and Berg were kind of like the more content, obviously, right? And so that I was really keeping up with them and kind of knowing what was going on. But I was so far behind. I wasn't watching their current videos for what was being released. I was watching every video,
right?
Going through like the entire process of the year. Because I had no idea. I didn't know that this was like these events were time stamped and packs were coming out at certain times. I had no idea about that. So I was just like, oh, watch this one. Oh, watch this one. I know Randy Moss. Let me go watch this video. And then once I got into more of that, then I saw some of Addy stuff which was just mostly gameplay, and was kind of like taken aback. Like, wow, like I don't think I've ever like had really seen someone be, or at least appear to be a really good player.
Yeah.
And then sort of from there, then I saw some of the stuff which we're trying to look up, how to be a better Madden player. Obviously see a lot about Problem at the time too.
Right.
Because that's when he was winning. So then it was like, okay, so this Problem guy is pretty good, right? So now I know his name. I know some other people's names. And then I started playing more and more. And I felt like I was getting pretty good at the game, but I didn't really know. Because if you played, seasons, which is all you really could have played back then, I didn't know a name from their ass was a hole in the ground, basically, right?
Yeah, no, I
don't know if I'm beating a good player. I'm winning a game,
right?
But am I playing a good player or a bad player? I don't know. So that's when I sort of joined on Twitter, because I started to follow the content, and obviously you would see people who were replying and doing all that stuff. So then I started to see that there's people would wager with coin games, right? And I was like, okay, so I got to imagine these people who are wagering here, they've got to be better players.
Yeah.
So these are the players I want to play. I want to see if I'm good or bad, right?
Yeah.
And so I was just sort of biding my time, waiting to see them looking for a game, and then already like following along, knowing the process. Like, hey, if I'm going to play one of these guys, I'm going to have to pay them up front. Nobody knows who I am. That's fine. You've got to take that risk of getting scammed, right?
Sure.
And so then I played God's Thumbs, because I was like, I know him. I've seen his name. I've heard his name. I know he's good.
Right.
So he was looking for a game, and I said, I'll play.
Yeah.
And he doesn't know who I am. So he thinks, it's probably pretty easy coins. And then he lost. And that's when he was like, all right, so I want you to play some of my friends too. I was like, okay, sure. No problem. So played with them, and then just started kind of hanging out with them as a group.
Sure.
And then getting introduced to more people along the way. And then that was the time where near the end of Madden 25, when they had, I don't know if anyone remembers, there was a Mutt tournament to crown Mutt champion or whatever it was. So I was like, all right, well, I'm going to compete in this. Right. And I ended up making it to the final four, where I lost to T-Raw, who eventually won. And then after that is like, I took a break of playing for a bit because I was like, there was a lot of games. And then ended up playing Toke, who was just starting out at YouTube. And he actually put the game on his channel. And I didn't really know who he was at the time.
Right.
Then someone messaged me. They're like, "Hey, you just played Toke," and I'm like, "I don't know who's Toke." Like, "Oh, he's a YouTuber. Your game's on there." And I was like, "Oh, okay, cool." So I checked it out and got to know him, and then sort of where everything changed.
That's kind of wild. I guess I assumed, I don't know why I did, because you occupy this space, not between, because obviously, you know, content is your bag, but like, you are a content creator that's also really good at the game. Like I mean, I guess except for Dubby, like you probably mop like most of the guys on like my schedule for the week. For example,
I'm up Dubby too. Don't worry.
You think you heard it here first? Factual?
He has trouble playing against me. Yeah. But it's not a talent thing. Some people are good matchups, some people are bad matchups.
Just a scheme thing.
I just know what pisses them off, and I play to piss them off when I play him.
That's very interesting. But I didn't know that. I guess you kind of got your feet wet beating some good players. It sounds like.
Oh yeah, for sure. There's so many people that ended up playing then and then going in through Madden 15,
right?
Where there was a tournament at the start of the year. I forget who held it or whatnot. But it was just tons of these big name players, and then I ended up making it to the finals of that one and losing, which was fine. I got outplayed, but then I was like, okay, well, I'm starting to feel pretty good. And the reason I was getting better was it wasn't just me. I was learning so much from the people around me, mostly from what to do, how to lab, and how to sort of come up with schemes. Was from Kraelo, who helped me from playing the game and learning what works in the game. He helped me by far the most out of anyone ever. Kind of like I went into like sort of be his prodigy, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not a prodigy at all, but that's how I learned everything, because I didn't really know what I was doing before, and I was just doing okay with like really shitty plays somehow.
Right.
But someone actually teaching me the game, someone showing me what to do, showing me how to lab so I could come up with my own stuff. And that's sort of also where the Madden turf kind of bred off of that into the start of Madden 15 as well, because I started seeing them and hanging out with them more at the end of 25.
Right.
So that's how that process sort of went. It was like, well, we should do this. And I was like, well, I can, like, I can build websites and do stuff like that. I was like, so I can help on that standpoint. But I was like, I don't really know how to lab or to find stuff in the game or anything like that. And they're like, well, we'll show you, we'll teach you. And I'm like, okay, sure. So that's sort of where it all went from there.
So I mean, sorry, go on. I was going to ask, understanding this is part of your origin story, which I didn't. This is like maybe like not necessarily what I expected to hear. Does it bother you a little bit that, like, I don't know, like business interests are conflicting at the point, like with where you're at now? Like, can you compete based on like what you have, other things you have going on?
No, I don't care about competing.
Okay.
At all. Because to me, there's a level where you can only go so far.
Sure.
With the talent you have.
Right.
Without putting in the work, right?
Yeah.
Back in the day in 25, 15, even Madden 16, you could make a pretty good run based on your natural ability and talent and slight knowledge from the game. But as the game has grown, there's obviously a much bigger, player base. More people spend more time and all that. And that knowledge gap, which you may have, because a lot of Madden early on was just knowledge gap difference, not skill gap, but knowledge gap. So if I know how to run a blitz and you don't know how to block a blitz, the game is over, right? Over time, that gap has really closed quite a bit. And so then there's the other parts of it where it's actually the skill gap comes into play. And EA themselves try to remove a lot of skill gap because they want more the average player to be competitive. But I don't have the time to put in to compete with some of these guys consistently. I can beat them, right, in one random game, but I couldn't beat 8 of them in a row to win a belt.
And that's the difference.
And to me, there's no point. I'm not competing for 16th place to win $2,500.
Right.
that doesn't do anything for me. So, as Toke always put it to me and put it to a lot of other people, why not make money while you lose? You know?
True indeed. And that's funny that you said that. Dubby echoed like the same sentiments and also referenced Toke in learning.
I remember when I was there when he told him that. It was in person. We were in Orlando. Yeah.
No shit, really? So you've met a bunch of these guys I mean, obviously over these years, but you were there for that specific conversation?
Yeah, that's when W was on his run to winning his Madden Bowl title.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fucking legendary. I'm sure you saw, of course, scary shit that happened to Toke, what was it, over the weekend, last week?
Oh, yeah.
Holy cow, man.
No.
What were your thoughts on that, and what are like action items for you on the other side of it? I just quick synopsis, got his YouTube account hijacked, videos, at least for the time being, deleted off of there, and I couldn't tell if it was a bot or if that was an actual person was streaming a Bitcoin infomercial off of this newly hijacked YouTube account. I mean, literally a nightmare. I cannot fathom watching that happen with 750,000 subscribers at that point. What did you think and you feel about that? Did you have any contact with him, and like what are you doing now? Did you get the key? Like, what do you think?
No, I haven't changed anything on my side yet. But no, like I reached out to him, talked to him about it, and I don't ever want to put out anyone's personal business. Sure. But like, and Skomo can sort of agree, like knowing him, you had to make sure that he's okay.
Sure.
Because it's crushing to anyone.
Oh yeah.
But for someone like him, like I admit, like it would hit him harder than it hits me.
Fair.
Just because of the way his personality is.
Sure.
But again, I felt like he like everything will probably be okay-ish. Mm-hmm. You just feel bad for someone like that, and like I told him too, I feel bad that it's not just that. Obviously have some downtime as you try to get things back, but if he can't get the old videos back, there's the memories involved with that. Plus, as a YouTuber, there's concurrent views that you just get on every video, which kind of really helps drive you a lot more than people think. The thousands and thousands of videos every day or views every day, which sort of mean that when you take a day off, there's still something there, It's not just the idea of you only get paid for the videos you do that day. You get paid for every video you've ever done consistently.
Right. So
that's just, I don't know how I would have taken it. I would have freaked out the same way and tried to reach out for all the help in the world.
Yep.
It's similar, but obviously worse to when my account got suspended. Was it 2 years ago, maybe? Mm-hmm. Still don't really know why it happened, but it did. But then I was like, how do I make money? I don't know what to do.
Right.
Because it seems like everything's gone. I haven't followed them today, but I think that they're on like the process of giving everything back for them at least.
That's good. So
hopefully, I just hope it happens soon. And hopefully whatever the steps are that we all need to take for authentication purposes, we can do. I would have thought my shit's pretty secure, but maybe it's not.
Yeah, I mean, I feel the same way. And then I'm learning about these like physical keys that some people are using to log into their accounts, and there's just like whole extra level. Like I thought my two-factor authentication, if I keep my phone on my person all the day, all the time, then I'm pretty well locked down, ready to go. But I suppose maybe not. But of course, I echo the sentiment. Hopefully, he gets that all situated. I don't know him like you do, but he seemed by all accounts a great dude. So I know we're rooting for him.
Oh yeah, no. And I know that, like, the one thing I always feel is, like, if someone wants something bad enough, whatever it is, someone wants to rob you or hack you or something like that, like, they can get it done.
Yeah.
If they're good enough. Yeah. Like, do we really think that a Google authentication stick is good enough to secure you, but they can hack the Pentagon?
Right.
If only if the Pentagon had a Google authenticator stick.
Yes, that's all they needed. It would have been fine. Yeah, right.
Like, oh no, they would have been totally fucking fine if they had this $45 thing. It's fine. So like no, right? Like it's again, it sounds great. Like you're providing an extra barrier, right?
Sure.
instead of like locking your door, you're putting the little hotel latch on the top too. Like, oh, it's fine.
Right.
Like, I mean, that chain ain't gonna hold no one back. No. You want to open the door, you're opening the door.
Right, exactly. If you want to get in that door enough, you're certainly going to be able to get in there. But so on the note then of content, that's already something I didn't know, that you kind of like cut your teeth and stepped into the community as a guy that was just beating other really good players. You've been, present for important conversations, clearly, based on what Dubby said, and, spent time around all these really huge creators. When did creating content become an option or a thought for you? So I think you left us off in Madden 25. You're starting to, talk to these guys and get some more competitive games. You've been intaking some content on your own. When does it start to kick over to the idea that like, okay, I got the juice for this. Like, I think I could actually put something together as well.
So it sort of changed a bit where in 25, I wasn't worried about the actual content of MUT at that point, or how do I make coins? Because as I got deeper into the community, I got deeper into the underbelly of the community as well, right?
Sure. Right.
So just by nature of meeting and knowing more people, we ended up knowing the guys who had like the pack glitch. If anyone remembers that in Madden 25, not a lot of people knew how to do it. But we knew people who did it, so they would have unlimited packs, basically.
What was happening there? So you just that's what it was. A pack glitch, as in there was you could just open unlimited packs.
Yeah,
that sounds wild.
Yeah, and so we would just get our coins and cards from them, basically, and then sell coins and cards to other people as well to make money for it.
Sure.
So at that point, I wasn't really ever spending any of my money on MUT because I was making that money at the end of 25, which was like at the time I thought was amazing, right?
Yeah.
But it was a couple $100 a week. It was cool. So just putting that money away, and then when we started doing Madden Turf, started taking that money and putting it away as well. Again, it wasn't a lot of money at the time, but I didn't even get to the point where I didn't really have to think about content a lot until I had to. And again, as you meet more people in 15, meeting more people, different people who are really more into playing MUT as opposed to like the seasons part of the game.
Right.
It was like, oh, so what's this content coming out? What's MUT Master, and all this sort of stuff. Oh, I have to sort of go through all this process. So as I started going through that, I would spend money occasionally at the time. I didn't want to spend my own money because, again, wife would have killed me, right?
Yeah.
So it was, well, how can I make this work? How can I make coins? How can I invest and sort of understand and make these guesses of what was going on? Back then when we had elite badges and all that, you could sort of hoard those and sell those and do whatever you wanted.
Right.
So I started getting much more into the MUT content, starting in 15, 16. And what I would do a lot of with that, still wasn't a content creator at all means, but I got much more in depth with that part. Still playing the game as much as I could and trying to pseudo compete. But then I would always sort of be lending out that knowledge and information to a Toke or Scumo or other people around, even putting stuff just on Twitter. And like that was the helpful part for them, for preparing for a promo or investing in this card or being prepared for this. Just understanding how to work the market even a little bit.
Sure.
And they're like, this is really helpful. Like you could show people this. I'm like, oh, I mean, I guess we could, right? But I didn't think anything at the time because I was like, I'm watching Toke every day. I'm not Toke,
right?
Like why would you want to watch me?
Sure.
When you've got this guy right here. So it's like, okay, well, I'm not even going to look or try anything. But then I forget what year it was. Had to have been Madden 17 time frame. Had to have been at the end, maybe the end of 17 or something like that.
Okay.
Maybe. I honestly forget. I do not know. We went on a trip to LA.
Yes.
When I say we went on a trip,
LA
I mean,
LOL, yeah.
I tagged along, right?
I see. Okay.
I tagged along because I wanted to, experience it.
Sure.
Like, oh, we're gonna go do the rookie premiere and go see all this stuff. And I was like, I want to come. They're like, well, if you buy a plane ticket, you can come. And I said, all right, I'm gonna go.
Yeah.
And seeing that, I was like, this is like pretty cool, you know. These are the experiences and the opportunities you guys get. And they're like, yeah. And then we went to an NBA Live party the last night there, which I got again pseudo invited to. I think Mutguru was the one throwing it.
Cool.
Or he was part of it. So obviously we knew Mike. And it was just a bunch of content creators and a bunch of really, really big content creators and a bunch of not really big content creators. And they go in there and they're getting all this stuff. And I'm like, I want to be a part of this.
Yeah.
Like, I want this opportunity. I want this free shit.
Hell yeah.
I want to be flown out to LA or get paid to go to something.
Off of Madden? Are you fucking kidding me? That's the dream.
Right. I was like, I'm going to try. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm going to cover, but I'm going to try. And we'll see if we can make it work. And so then I remember coming back and like, okay, we're going to start YouTube. Set everything up. And I know we actually had planned a cruise super shortly after that. And even then, from the beginning, from day one, I was like, all right, I'm going out of town. You have to make videos for when you're gone. That's what you do.
Yeah.
That's what I see everyone else doing. So I'm going to do it for my 100 subscribers, right?
Right.
So I remember sitting there and creating these just absolutely shit videos, but having content for every day I was gone.
Yeah.
That's what you do.
That's what a YouTuber does. Right.
Right. And I was like, oh, if I'm going to be a YouTuber, I'm going to be a YouTuber. And so I did it, and I didn't really put as much time into the stuff as I probably should have to start.
Sure.
I wasn't really seeing a lot of growth with it. But I also wasn't trying very hard either. Mm-hmm. I was doing only what I wanted to do at that point. Small little videos here, talk about Weekend League or play a squads game or, you know, whatever it was. But I wasn't like, oh, this is something. It was making, you know, $200 or $300 a month. Again, I'm working full time, so I'm like, this is cool. This is a little bit extra money, right?
Worthwhile.
Maybe I can go do something. Maybe I could buy my packs or whatever it was.
Sure.
And then, like, once things changed, it was like, oh, I guess you can make money on this, like actual money.
Right.
And that's when my whole mindset changed of like, well, we should try harder.
Okay, and we need to, I want to lean into this try harder for a moment though. If you would just rewind us to where did you meet ScoMo? Because the ScoMo friendship is so, and then I want to get to the point.
I'll give you guys the ScoMo. I'll give you a ScoMo story.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I came for. Hell yeah, right.
So I knew who ScoMo was in Madden 25. And he gained his popularity, I guess, from winning a Calvin Johnson giveaway for a card or something, right?
Okay.
And so he was kind of getting like pushed a bit, and that's when they started Mutt Crew and all that. And I was like, okay, cool, right? I didn't know him yet, but at that time I was going to follow him, just like everyone else was doing in the community. Mm-hmm. Hadn't talked to him or anything like that. Saw him stream. It's like, okay, and these guys have all the inside information from EA. Like they're on like they weren't on EA's payroll or anything, but like it was helping push Mutt Crew as a thing to try to help build the community, which was cool.
Yeah, that is cool. You don't see that very much anymore.
So remember, I was friends with Kilo, and Kilo really did not like the way that things were done. And I know he had, I don't know if the video still exists, but he had made a video about, it was actually about ScoMo and Kraelo. This is in Madden 25. They titled the video Bonfires and Blowjobs.
Not like this. Oh boy.
Yeah. And so it was a whole thing about that, about how, and I, going off about ScoMo, but part of it was going off of Kraelo. He's like, what is a Kraelo? Who is this Kraelo guy? And obviously we know Kraelo now, right? So just kind of funny. But I remember after ScoMo saw that, he had went out there and he was telling everyone, he's like, you need to block this Kilo guy and do all this. And I was like, I'm not going to do that. I like this guy.
Right.
So that actually, too, like that kind of brought me closer to Kilo because I was talking to him. I was like, I don't know what's going on here, but like, I'm behind you, man. Right.
Fucking ScoMo guy. I don't know this guy.
Right. And so the first time I met Scone after that, like I guess we'd like talked a bit more, and especially Madden 15, and there's other stuff that's kind of goes on in between there of building like just the online friendship, right? But then I think the first time we met was Madden 16 at the Mutthead launch party. I think it was 16.
Cool.
I think it was. That's when Kraelo was 16 or 17. Whenever Kraelo was starting to work for Mutthead.
Just started. Confirms Mutthead party, yeah.
And I didn't really, got to know him a bit more, obviously through some of that, which was fun, just the start of stuff, really, because once you actually meet someone in person, it's easier to sort of build a bond with them. I feel like.
Agreed.
For whatever reason, that's just the way it goes. But like that was the time, like I met Scomo there the first time. I think that was the first time I met Toke in person. Kraelo, Mr. Mutt Guru, and then QJB too. And the crazy thing with Q, Q's super big, right? But he didn't know who I was at all. But he was like the nicest person to me there too.
Love that.
With everything, and I was always like, and I've only seen Q a few times, but he is always like the nicest guy. When I saw him last time, I saw him in Atlanta. It was my son, and he was, he said something, and like Q's just there, like, oh hey, what's going on, guys? Like super awesome guy, right? Love Q.
Nice.
We'll always love Q. But no, once you meet people like that, and then so at that Mutthead launch party, the game was just out, I guess, at that point. This is kind of a funny part.
Yeah.
We might as well. This is funny. So they had a limited like points loaded up at the event on these consoles, right? And the idea was that if like you pulled a card there, someone would verify that like, hey, you got to open one pack. So if you opened a pack, you pulled like an Antonio Brown, right?
Right.
You would write it down, your gamer tag, and Kraelo or whoever was going to like grant it to you, right? It was kind of like a cool little thing they did. Great. Yeah. But we knew that they were going to have the consoles up. So I remember before we left to the party, we had Toke's Xbox and we loaded up the trade block with a bunch of cards, right? And so in the downtime of when this was going on, since Mutt was already actually out, we went and bought a bunch of cards off the auction block and traded them to ourselves.
I mean, come on, you had to. What did they expect you to not? Like, give me a fucking break.
Right? You got to try. And so we thought, like, we were good to go, right? We were good to go. But no. But no, I guess they tracked it somehow and got a message from I got a message from Kraelo on Xbox, like an Xbox message from Kraelo. Damn. And he's like, "Hey, did you really do this?" And I was like, "I don't know what you're talking about, man." It's like, I'm not getting my ass in trouble. I think we both were like, "I don't know what happened. I'm not sure what happened, man. That's crazy." Obviously, like you could have done it differently with just like putting up a card for coins and doing something. Because there would have been a better way to do it. Right. But like that was, we thought we were being slick and got pseudo caught.
That's very funny. Was Kraelo cool about it, or was he like, dude, like, come on?
I think he just made us quick sell the stuff because I think everything quick sold for 500 coins back then.
Right.
But like, so there's a lot of Kraelo stories and how like you build up a relationship with Kraelo over 7 years now. And Scum will talk about that. But he's had to deal with us doing a lot of dumb stuff. But same point would tell him like, well, why not?
Right.
Like why wouldn't we try this?
I mean, you had to. Yeah, you had to at that point.
Right. Like this is a come up, right?
Total come up.
But then it was not.
So knowing
It was
Kraelo
not.
knowing Kraelo as long as you have, then, and you're kind of like, even personally, what did you feel? Do you remember? What was it last year that he kind of, had a moment on stream where he leveled with us all and was, and in more words and much more eloquently, as Kraelo does, was basically like, yo, I'm doing my fucking best here. I get so much shit from the community. Do you remember this, or like anything you felt about him?
Oh yeah, no.
He's finally sticking up for himself.
Yeah, no. So I won't put out any of his,
of course,
personalness into anything.
Sure.
But I know a lot of people are going to give him shit constantly. He's robotic. He's this. He's that. Like, Skomo will say the same thing whenever you talk to him. Raylo's the fucking man.
Yeah.
He works so hard and
yeah.
tries so hard, And again, like, maybe he's not supposed to have some of the relationships he has with some of us, right? Which is understandable because of sponsorship versus EA, right?
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, he cares about the game.
Huge.
That's why I know I put out a tweet after that about a message one day where he'd asked me something about house rules, and he's like, is this good or bad? And I was like, this is not good. Like, I forget what it was, 100 wins or some dumb shit.
Right.
And he was like, oh, okay. So he's like, what are you doing tonight? I was like, nothing. And he's like, all right, I'm going to call you. So, okay. So, like, I talked to him for hours as he played house rules to just log the time to say, like, this is too much. This is too much time to ask our players for these rewards,
Wow.
And this is all after work when he's at home. And people don't really see that a lot with him. And Krael's a great guy. He was always going to try to help everyone in the community as much as he can. For sure. Sometimes he tries to do too much, and I've told him that. It's like, you just got to stop, back off. It's okay. Like, we'll be fine. But he's a good guy, and if or whenever he leaves, I mean, obviously there's a whenever, right? He's not going to stay here forever,
right?
You're going to notice it.
I believe it.
You will notice it 100%.
For sure.
100%. There's going to be a big hole in communication.
Yeah.
Because there's nobody better suited or more qualified. He's overqualified for the job.
Agreed.
He's way overqualified for what he does. But he's just a perfectionist, wants to do it all. It's cool.
Yeah, man. It seems like the love for Kraelo is pervasive and genuine, which is super dope. So I suppose that
for sure.
So that's so now with the YouTube thing, you've kind of, your eyes are opened a little bit. You've realized, like, wait, hold on a second. This might just not be able to pay for a couple packs every month. Like, I might be able to make a couple bucks off of this. What adjustments did you have to make when you kind of doubled down and you were like, okay, this can bring in some money now? You referenced earlier that you were doing things that you wanted to do, which to me infers maybe that the, I don't know, quote unquote, right videos might not always be the ones that you wanted to put out. But I was wondering if you could share like some of the things that needed to change between, CC as the 100 subscribers, but still scheduling videos, like, doing what you can, making a couple bucks, and CC now. Like, what adjustments did you have to make?
So it really was just, instead of me doing what I wanted when I wanted, it was keeping up with what's going on at a much higher level, right?
Right.
A content drop. For Thanksgiving promo, for Black Friday, for Christmas, through the Super Bowl. It was just at that point of deciding to keep up with what is going on, as opposed to, like, I was doing like Legend Saturdays, right? Wasn't worried about Team of the Week or whatever the hell else we had, Rising Star Tuesdays or some crap. But it was just, okay, it's like, so I'm going to start to keep up with this more, right? Not that I'm not keeping up with it in the game, but I'm not recording myself with it. So it's like, okay, let me spend more time here. And again, following along the path of, like, there's content. Let's talk about the content. There's games. Let's play these games. Right. And then doing more and more of that. And then sort of going up with Weekend League as it started to grow there as well.
Right.
So it wasn't necessarily me now doing things I didn't want to do. It was paying more attention to it and being more on time with it all, right?
Got it.
As opposed to not necessarily sort of like what Zerk and his sort of path was, because I wasn't trying to do everything. But what I found after a while is, as I kept getting more and more into it, because again, since I'm having to cover the content for videos, I'm thinking about it a little more because I have to tell someone else about it. Right. I have to be informative and I have to be correct. And that's one thing I will always try to be, is correct. Because I'll be honest, there's a lot of bad information that gets put out there.
Lots.
For sure.
Yeah.
So I'd rather not lie, just to be first, or just to clickbait.
Right.
Sort of. So as you spend more time learning the content to then sort of, essentially regurgitate some of it, right?
Yeah.
Out there, you get to the point of, well, there's more and more I want to do and want to talk about and get into more detail with. So it was just sort of like a natural progression of getting to the certain point where I was doing daily videos.
Right.
And then I was doing 2 videos a day. And then getting more on that path. And again, it was going into, again, I always forget the years. We'll say Madden 19, whatever.
It's got to be close, yeah.
Yeah, it's probably going into Madden 19.
Okay.
Where I was like, okay, so I want to do a little bit more here. I think I was at like 9,000 subscribers. Like, okay, I feel good. Like I'm, making, enough money to pay for daycare.
Yeah,
which
huge.
was, like goal number 1 that I had in my mind. Bam. And then going from there was like, okay, so let me do a little bit more. Because I'm seeing that the more I'm doing, the more growth I'm having. And again, that's because there's so few people at that point really who know who you are.
Right.
That, the wider net you cast, the more fish you're going to catch.
Makes sense.
Right. And since I can't just put out one video every 3 days and be like, hopefully it grows. It's not the way our community works.
Mm-hmm.
The size and all that. It doesn't work that way. So it was just trying to get as much as we could out there. And then eventually that grew to a point where I started to feel like pretty good about it. Enough to the point where like I should have some sort of recognition from EA because I was a game changer for a while, right?
Yeah.
And the sort of breaking point for me came when the Super Bowl was in Atlanta.
Right.
I live in Atlanta. I'm a game changer. This is phenomenal. I know I don't have the biggest channel, but like I had just gotten over 1 million views in a month for December.
Jeez.
Right? Feels good. Yeah. Like, okay. Channel's growing. I was like, hey, I want to go do something like that. They had Good Morning Madden or whatever it was called at the time. Mm-hmm. Like, we're gonna have it down at the Super Bowl. And I was like, I wanna go. Let me come on the show. And they're like, no, you can't.
Damn.
I said, okay, well, let me come down for something. And they're like, no, we can't. Like, okay. And then Kraelo reaches out to me. He's like, I can get you into the Super Bowl experience.
Fucking legend.
And I was like, okay. So I brought me and my older son down there. I picked Kraelo up at his hotel. And we went down there for the day. And he walked us around the whole time. I was like, again, that's Kraelo, right?
Nuts.
EA itself isn't going to bend the rules.
Right.
But Kraelo's like, I'm going to go steal some tickets for us so you can go do this.
I got you.
Not that the tickets were expensive, because you could stand in line and buy the ticket for $25 or whatever, right?
Sure.
But it was the point. He was like, you're going to do something here. I'm going to make sure you do it. And it took, I think it was the Saturday before the Super Bowl. So the day before, that's what he did with his day, And then I even told him after that, I was like, listen, I appreciate everything, but you know what I got to do? I got to go take sponsorships.
Yeah.
And he's like, I get it. Go for it.
That question is coming up a lot in, like I talked about it with Chu Flocka. Shout out to Chu Flocka. We love Chu Flocka. Yep. Also, hype. I too, as do you, have a founder's badge in Chu Flocka's channel, which is also low, and that's indicative of you also, CC. You won't say this for yourself, so I'll be the one to say it for you. Indicative of the fact that like the fact that you're showing smaller than you streamers love, and the fact that all's well that ends well. Chu Flocka winds up with a partner's badge, which is pretty sick. But So we were talking in our conversation about the, weighing the pros and cons of kind of, him and I maybe like at the cusp of, proud of the growth of the channel, of course. You're looking forward to what the future might bring, and, you're on X stage and it can bring in X amount of dollars and cents. And of course, money talks, and we're kind of considering and weighing again pros and cons as to the sponsorship that, basically precludes you from a relationship with EA, which I guess is unfortunate, but you got to understand it. Or on the other hand, maintaining the bridge with EA and leaving yourself open to the Madden lives or whatever else might come in the future. I would be curious if you might share your perspective just from like somebody in my spot or Choose spot that might have options coming up soon. Were you happy with the way things went for you and the decisions that you made? Would you offer any guidance in either direction on that subject?
Yeah, so like to me, it's a decision that has to be based on your not do you think I'm gonna get something from EA, right? Because you don't know, right? There's gonna be times you're going to get stuff from EA, and there's gonna be times you're not, right? For me, it was all based on the decision of, is this enough money for me to break the relationship,
right?
To help support my family, right?
Right.
That was all it was. But what was easier for me, and I know would be easier for ScoMo or Toke when they did their stuff as well, we had the relationships with the people, It's not just that you're just random game changer. Like, these are people I know. These are people I've met. These are people I've had drinks with. These are people who I have their phone numbers. Right,
Kraelo, case in point, your relationship with Kraelo. I mean,
we know some of these people.
Yeah,
and just because we can't have a working relationship doesn't mean that there's not a relationship there.
Fair.
And there's a trust levels between everyone as well, so that makes it a little bit easier to know.
Yeah.
And for anyone smaller, I would always just tell them, like, do what you want. If you think that you want to kind of go the Madden Live route, and hopefully maybe EA does something for you. Maybe they give you your creator code, right? Who knows, right? I think EA missed a ton of people on creator codes this year.
Right. For sure. How many did they put out? I mean, I don't know hardly any.
I mean, I know there was Pop.
Right. That's the only one I know.
Chaos,
I think.
Chewy,
okay.
IMAV. But I didn't really see anyone but Pop push his at all.
Yeah,
I don't think I really ever saw it.
No, Pop was the only one that I knew of. Pop was the only one that I knew of until you just told me some more.
Oh, I know I'm missing some other people too, but he's the only one I ever see push it.
Yeah,
I'm like, I would have been pushing the shit out of that every single day.
Oh man, in every video,
you got to push that, and if you couldn't help get that money, whichever it is, and that's Chris, we have no idea.
Right, sure.
We don't. I know he knows, but we don't know.
I'd be curious. Of course, I would never ask, but I would be curious. Oh,
I that's a question I would ask someone in person.
For sure. Maybe not in an interview setting.
Right. No, but like at a bar, be like, all right, dude, let's see.
Come on, yeah. What's going on here?
Right. I see. OT. Pop said more people use it. I've heard that. I've heard generalizations from stuff, but I don't know. So, like, what if that opportunity comes up? Is that lucrative for you guys as well? Maybe.
Sure.
But should you ask before you make a decision? Should you reach out to a Kraelo and be like, hey, what's up about this? Or I guess technically it's Gabby, if anyone cares. It's not Kraelo. She doesn't run that. But like how, which way should it go? Because yeah, you can get some cool opportunities from EA. You can get to release early videos and early content. And sometimes that is really, really, really helpful.
Right.
Especially the growth of a channel is worth more than a couple $100, right?
Yeah.
Because that growth, if it starts to compound, man, you're in a great path.
For sure.
If you don't do anything with it though, it don't matter, right?
Right.
There's, and this isn't a throw shade at anyone by any means, if whoever sees this. But you got someone, I think of like Jo, right? Who used to be, I guess he was a creator, right?
Mhm.
And he would get these opportunities and stuff at times. I know he doesn't anymore. No, it stopped some point. It'd be like, hey, release early gameplay, and then do nothing for the rest of the year, almost.
Right.
If that's the path it's going to be, well, you're not going to make enough growth to sustain it and keeps it going. So, and I don't know how it really works with like a higher Twitch audience or for Choose Case too, especially on TikTok, right? I don't know how that converts or does anything like that, or how to push it so much. But it's, if you don't have a relationship with the EA and you can't talk to them, why not try it? You know,
for sure.
But I would try to reach out to EA first just to see if like there is a door that can be opened there, and at least know, because don't say like, oh well, I don't want to burn a bridge with EA. Well, what if they don't want you on their bridge anyway?
Yeah, they're not even looking. Yeah, they have no idea that there should be a bridge there in the first place.
Right, like it's tough, you know.
Yeah.
I just think it's always about what you want out of this. Is this your career? Is this a second job? Is this a side job? Are you just doing it for fun? And you don't really care about whatever the income is.
Mm-hmm.
Because as soon as you take any sponsorship deal, you're starting to do it for the money. And yeah, because it is the job, for a lot of us now, this is what we want to do. And I really feel bad for a lot of people who are starting up recently.
Right.
Because I feel like they missed a lot of that boom period. For sure. And I think even me coming in at the end of the boom period.
Interesting.
Right? It was hard. When you look back at Cookie Boy, Colin Berger, these guys, how many, like, just off the rip, how many subs does Cookie have? Did anyone know off the top of their head?
No clue.
I'm gonna look. I know it is. It's a ton. It's a ton, right? And you don't think about it, but Cookie's been around ever, and he has paid all of his dues to get there. But he was around for these bursts. So he's got 641,000, right?
Goodness,
crazy. It's crazy. So he's been through the booms, right? All those booms. When's the next boom coming? Well, I think Madden 20 was a boom.
A little bit.
Right? Madden 21 was fucking definitely not a boom. It was a horrible year for people.
Right.
Oh, top to bottom, it was just a horrible year. Maybe 22 is the boom. But being in at the boom at the right level is also really tough to be. That's why I said everyone started last year. Like, if it was a better year, everyone's numbers are probably doubled.
Right.
Probably. For sure.
What do you think about the trajectory? Like, what do you think? What's of course, it can just be a good guess at this point, but like you said, 21 maybe not necessarily empirically what we thought or hoped that it would be, and now moving forward into 22, it seems like there's some good. I mean, it's a new game, right? And I've been here a very small amount of time compared to you, but it does seem like a new game will get the community fired up anew, no matter what. But just by your estimation and your guess, and kind of like what you see happening, and the moves that you see happening around you, are you optimistic for the future? Are you tempering your expectations a little bit just based on what 21 felt like here? Do you think that was just an off year, or is this kind of more indicative of a trend? Do you think?
No. So what happened? This is the truth.
Yeah, tell me.
Despite what everyone else wants to say.
Oh yeah.
2020 obviously was a good game. Was it a bad game? It depends who you are, right?
Depends up.
People were very torn on 20.
Yeah.
Right. People were very for. But why was it so popular? Well, because running the ball makes things easy. They always want to make things easy, but the reason it became so popular isn't because it was popular from August to January. It's because it was popular from February to July, right?
Facts.
And that's all because of COVID, 100%.
Yeah.
So all that time, people getting used to working at home or not working or whatever it may be, spending all their time on the video games, spending their money on the video games because now you can't go out at all. So that became such a big period, and that's when a lot of the growth really, really started to hit.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Like I think back, my May for Madden 20 had 3 million views, and this year it was like 1 million, right?
Wow.
Why? I don't know.
Yeah.
But huge difference, right? So the growth was all there for COVID. What happened is time started to open up. People were obviously going to play a little less. But at the same point, it's not just that. It was the start of Madden 21 where things started out really slowly. Obviously, it was a late release in the end of August. What happened is you had all these people who'd been playing this game for basically 12 months, or it was actually 13 months because it came out really early. If you remember, it came out at the end of July.
Right.
So people played for 13 months and they needed a break. Right? So you started out slow. And once you start out slow out of the gate, it's really hard to gain a lot of traction momentum. Obviously, there's still people playing and all that. So from a views content creator perspective, that's how it went. But some people came back, and those are probably the people who are more still around. Mm-hmm. People who continued to play without a break played up until about May this year, and then they said, I need a break.
Mm-hmm.
It's summertime. Everything's open again. I'm going to take my break, my time. That's why the numbers since then have been so down. Again, totally fair, understandable. But what's happening is there's more and more people who are getting that itch and that urge to play Madden again. Because no matter how bad the previous game was or how much they didn't like something like that, when you're not playing it, you kind of want it. It's the whole absence makes the heart grow fonder.
Sure.
And that's what I feel like is going to happen for the start of 22. There's going to be a really big boom from a lot of people who have taken these breaks off because they had played so much. They hadn't been on vacation. They needed to go away. They needed to do everything. I see Glenn in here too, talking about MLB. MLB certainly helped that. MLB being free on Xbox certainly helped that. Not that MLB is the world's greatest game. It is a good game. It is a better game with a lot of free content.
Sure.
The best MLB that I've been a part of.
Cool.
And I've been playing the show for like since 11, really. Not Diamond Dynasty since 11, but just in general.
Sure.
So coming into that now with all these people wanting to play something new for Madden is great. And that's what's going to be very helpful. Even these people who are playing MLB now, they want to play Madden. They want to kind of get back into their game. A lot of Madden people can go play MLB. MLB people can go play Madden. We don't need to be classified as one or the other.
Sure.
Which is weird. And the MLB community has certainly evolved over the past 2 or 3 years from hating anyone who's an outsider to understanding like, hey, it's okay. We're okay to give you guys some growth too.
More the merrier,
bring some new eyes. And vice versa. I would love if Shelfie or Kyle or Cougs came to play some MUT. I would love it.
Dope. Yeah.
Bring them in.
Some cross contamination. Hell yeah.
Yeah. So it's tough. But I think it's going to be a better year. Will people enjoy the game as much? I don't know. The biggest thing I want for the game is always, I say the word fun, but what I really, really, really want above all else is I don't want next gen and current gen to be these vastly different versions of the game.
Completely agreed.
Just have them similar. Maybe not similar in speed, but similar in fun. That make them both good versions of the game. That's all I care about. Because what happens a lot is if you're playing one version of a game and someone's playing a different version of a game, regardless of what it is, you're going to lose kind of half the audience for a little bit. Because some people are like, oh, you're not playing current gen, or oh, you're not playing next gen. You know, I played all my games on next gen. Which was it a smart idea for YouTube and stuff? Probably not. But I was going to play it this way because I personally didn't want to sit here and just play a bunch of man coverage the whole time.
Right, yeah.
I wanted to run the offenses I wanted to run. And I don't think Next Gen for 21 was a good game at all.
Okay.
But the two things that it allowed me to do was one, run absolutely any offense I wanted to.
Facts.
It gave me freedom of choice. Fucking hate when we don't have freedom of choice to run an offense.
Right.
And two, and this is the easy part, it was so easy since there was no competition.
Mm-hmm.
So I could play 50 games a week in League and just cruise my ass through and get these rewards. And oh my God, look how great I'm doing, right? It was easy.
Right.
Because no offense, there was 18 18 or 19 games a week in Weekend League on each account where I was only losing if I happened to throw my controller out the window.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm a perpetual. I was a perpetual, 18-ish current gen. I'm on next gen 22, no problem, dude. 22 knocking them out. Just like it really was not super difficult. So I tend to agree with you on there.
All right, but you're on PlayStation, so I don't know how that goes over there.
Come on, I don't know. We're not doing this, CC. Ain't no way, right?
I mean, I'm not gonna say it.
Jeez,
no,
man.
We're gonna be proper. I gotta be proper.
That's right.
But no, I think that a lot of people are gonna have that itch and that urge to play again, and I also think that's it's a good thing and a bad thing. Think about MLB as well, right? MLB the show is how long was the life cycle of the game? Truly, they do put out stuff for 12 months, but people are off by October. So that game runs for 6 months, right? Which means that when it comes back in April or March, man, you're excited. I haven't played the game forever, right? That's kind of that's the beauty of MLB's launch is always really, really fun.
For sure.
Because you haven't been around it.
Right.
It's new stuff, new people. It doesn't have that always.
Yeah, we got it around the corner.
Yeah, it's close. And then we have this year and next year. Thanks, Bugs. But then we have college coming up in 2 years, right? So next year is our only off season, right? Assuming that college has a April-May release date.
You think that's a fair assumption? You think Smart Money might be on us seeing it for sure?
I was in 23, yeah.
Okay.
That's 20. It'll be in 23.
Nice.
Unless something goes crazy wrong, it'll be 23.
Right. Yeah.
For sure. It's not next year. They won't be ready for it. Because it's also going to be, despite what everyone wants to think, it's going to be based off the platform that Madden's on, right?
For sure.
So it's going to be based off.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
So it's going to be based off of next year's Madden, obviously, right?
Yeah.
Whatever that base is. So just kind of go from there. So if we get a good Madden, I'm not saying a good Madden 22. I'm saying a good Madden 23.
A platform will even for 23, right?
Mm-hmm. That's when it'll be. Depends how deep they're into the cycle, and I have no idea. But it's gonna come, and that's gonna be a huge boost to everyone because we love that type of game, that difference in the game. I know for me, especially, look forward to it.
Yeah.
But I think that's really helpful to have breaks in your games, and it's what makes Madden a very difficult game with a yearly release, over and over and over. It's the same thing that sort of hurts 2K. 2K isn't as hurt as bad because they have Park, and Park is such a good mode, which is irrelevant to year, essentially, right?
Right.
And I could put my own words out about Park and what I really wish it was, that you don't have to. If Park was a mode where you didn't have to pay someone to get badges and stuff for you and all this time.
It's nuts. I've heard something about this.
If you could just go play, right? Just go play. Have everyone, like, here are the shooting guards, here are the centers, here are the fours, or just like very base archetypes.
Right.
And you could just pick up Park and play right now in July. Someone's like, let's go play Park. I'd be like, I haven't played before. That's cool. Let's do it. Not, I can't.
Right.
Because that's the answer is I can't. I can't go play Park with you. It's not possible.
Right. I'm not paid up.
I wish they did it differently. You know, and it's even the same thing with what they try to do with the yard. Oh, if someone wanted you to come play now, what are you, level 1 versus their level 45? You can't. Well, you can compete. You can't compete.
Right.
Stop making these modes like that, and that's why they're bringing team play back, I guess, into Madden for regs. Because again, that's better, but team play still will always have its issues within Madden, and they can't really. It's a hard mode to have a lot of fun against because people are just going to do they're going to play Madden the way they play Madden, right?
Right.
So, but it'll be better than MUT squads because squads gets too hard with the teams, the 99s and abilities and all sorts of stuff, right?
And that's like a whole different meta they got to take up with squads. Squads is pretty gross. Like watching like the top level guys play squads together, like that was pretty fucking gross, was it not?
It's gross. It's gross.
Yeah,
I hate it.
Agree.
I really liked squads, and whatever year it came out, we played a lot. It's 19. But since then, 20 being so run heavy, and then this year with how man just sort of blanketed everything too. It was like, so then you got to run again. Like, I don't want to play against that.
True indeed.
That's just boring. It just it takes me out of my fun, you know.
Yeah, I don't make a whole heck of a lot of friends out there in head-to-head or weekend league. I played offensive line
no, you
in college,
definitely don't.
No, I don't. My messages, CC, are a fucking travesty, bro. I will tell you that much. After a good weekend league session, I got some folks that would want to tell me about how brain dead I am, and they're not completely wrong, but I don't know, bro. I came about my toting ways, honestly. I feel like
it's fair. I mean, I will always say, you can play however you want,
sure,
and I can play how I want.
But
I don't have to like how you play, and you don't have to like how I play.
Bless.
That's fair. Like, I'm not like I'm gonna if I play someone I don't like the way they play, I'm gonna complain about it.
Have to.
Doesn't mean I don't think you shouldn't be able to do that.
Mm-hmm.
It's more me saying I wouldn't do that, right?
Totally.
Because I wouldn't. What's fun to me, maybe isn't fun to you, right? Maybe it's not fun to someone else, and that's cool, right? But at least on next gen, you could run whatever you wanted.
Yeah, I like the flexibility. You could do a little bit of You could do kind of whatever you wanted. Was still gonna. You weren't precluded from any type of offense just based on the game, I would say. CC, right. Bro, I got like two more questions. We can hop whenever you want to. I know I've already kept you over the hour that I asked you to budget for, and I really appreciate your time. I got a couple more good ones here for you before we bring this thing home. And again, bro, I appreciate the time. As a father, as a content creator, how do you for folks that kind of want to do both, they want to be the family man, but also stay tapped into all the things that you are tapped into. Have there been any adjustments that you've had to make in terms of whether it be incorporating your family into what you're doing? Are your kids like involved in any of the stuff downstairs or the setup? Have you had to make any pivots to, because this stuff you could get carried away with this stuff very easily. I imagine, especially at your level, daily plus multiple per day uploads can be distracting to say the very least. And I know just from your outward persona, what I know of you, a family man, just you love to love your kids and be a father. How do you play both of those into your life and be good at both things?
So it's all like everything is always family first.
Mm-hmm.
Regardless of what it is. It just has to be that way. So there was two different balances. One when I was working full time, and now when I'm not, right?
Right.
So the only difference there is like more time for me and the kids, essentially, right?
Sure.
Obviously took a pay loss to quit full time, because it's not like I worked or put out twice as many videos at that point. My output was the same, right? I didn't quit to make more money on YouTube. I quit to have more time.
It's awesome.
Quality of life, right?
Yeah.
Again, losing money because it was a good job, but it was worth it. I was actually talking about it this morning with wife.
Awesome.
But I was like, it's worth it. So for the balance of what it is, summer's obviously its own sort of thing. It's difficult. The kids are in and out. Like they're not even here for the next couple of days. So
cool.
That's fine. But school year is the important part. So here in Georgia, school starts first week of August, and then it ends at the end of May, right? So those 9 months, basically, or 10 months, however you call it, 10 months, I guess, whatever.
Yeah. I'm with you.
I have to do a lot to make sure that that's okay. So like my day in the life sort of breaks down to waking up at 6 or 6:30 on school days. Not necessarily getting them ready because like they're pretty good at getting themselves ready.
Yeah.
But just getting them out into the car, taking the big one to school first because they have a set time for school.
Right.
And taking the little one to daycare. Again, and that is not a far drive. It is right outside the neighborhood for me. Like
nice.
It's super close. So if I leave the house at 7, drop them both off. I normally go get breakfast. I'm home by 7:45. Cool. And that's my time to probably just rest at that point. Not necessarily take a nap or something, but just I'm resting, relaxing. Let me just get sort of my shit together for the day.
Little decompression.
And maybe make a plan for the day, right?
Sure.
And then obviously content or whatever is normally 10:30. If there's no content, we plan for releasing videos at 10:30. So if I know that we have nothing going on, I may have pre-recorded something or not. And then, so we'll just say it's a content day. Do your content, 10:30, record, take my time editing, not really in a rush. Talk to ScoMo or whoever in the morning, then have lunch, come back, do some other stuff, and then pick the big one up at like 2. I think I leave at like 2:00 to get him from school.
Okay.
Bring him home, sort of set him on his like, do your homework, do your shit path.
Right.
Then let me sort of get the second video done or ready for the day, or just do it live or whatever it is. And then the little one comes home at like 5, and then we just do family time till like 9, whether it's dinner, whatever, we go to the pool, whatever it is. And then I come back downstairs, and then that's when I play and, play all the weekend league games or just relax and have my own time. So,
right.
And normally that's probably, I would say till 2:00 is fair. From like 9 to 2 is either playing games, actually socializing with people, recording ahead. Again, if I have ideas in my head, or if it's to record a gameplay at that point, I can do that because I know I'm not going to be interrupted.
Sure.
Because I have no problem recording quick videos when people are around. They won't come downstairs, or they'll just be in the other room here. It's kind of hard to see, but there's no doors in my office. I don't know if you can tell.
No, I can't.
There are no doors.
Okay.
There's no doors. Like, there's no doors that close. There's openings, right?
But they know to kind of like leave you be if you're recording something, I'm sure.
Yeah, like the big one, he just sits and watches his own YouTube shit.
Cool.
But it's just about that balance of like, okay, so when everyone's around, I'm going to spend the time with them.
Yeah.
I'm going to make sure I get everything done that I need to. And if it means that I have to stay up really late and I sacrifice sleep, that's no problem. I can sacrifice sleep, right?
Yeah, family.
I can operate on 3 hours of sleep, no problem.
Jesus.
Just give me 20 minutes after I wake up to like get the blood flowing, then I'm good, right?
Right.
And I've been doing that for years and years and years. Sleep has never been a priority for me, ever. When I was in college, when I was getting out of college, I was always I'm going to be at work at 6. I'm going to be at work at 7. And then obviously once the kids came around, it was kind of the same thing. You're up at night a lot with them. So we started to have schedules with the first one where like she would go to bed when he would go to bed. She'd put him to bed around like 8. And so then I would stay up until he woke up for his first time, because kids always wake up in the middle of the night. So it'd be like, I don't know, 1 or something like that. Then I'd put him down and I would go to sleep. So then she would get up with him like next time. So we would just always have that sort of rotation. I'm going to go to bed as well and wake up. And then no, it's like I can do stuff. And that's actually when I started playing a lot more than Madden, was in that time when I'm waiting for him to wake up. Because he would have been 1-ish at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Madden 25 coming out. Something like that. It's 2? Shit, I don't know. Yeah. So it's just about the balance. And everyone who wants to create content, if you have a family, you don't have a family, you have a social life, you don't have a social life, whatever it is that you have otherwise besides gaming and content creation, you need to balance it.
Right.
You have to have the balance. You can't just do all of one thing. You can't just go out with your friends all the time. You have to focus on yourself. You can't just play games all the time. You have to focus on job, wife, family, whatever it is, or other social life aspect. There has to be a balance to everything. And that's what I've done a lot better job this year, was balancing my personal life out with it as well. Like, I've been going to ScoMo's. I've seen him more times this year than I did last year, right? Maybe not as much as we probably still should have done stuff. Going to the pool, doing neighborhood functions with, our friends. Whereas in the past, I'd be like, I can't do anything. I got to work.
Yeah.
Now I'm like, fuck it, I'm going. I'll work later.
Hell yeah. I mean, it seems like the balance for sure, one of the top available mental gems that you can share. And now I could kind of like segue it into the last thing that I wanted to ask you about. I'm interested in this, as are a lot of people that spend time in my channel who are, you know, smaller creators, streamers, YouTubers, whatever the case may be. And if you've been paying attention, you know, I've been picking up gems from CC beginning to end here, balance, of course, being among them. I'm curious if there, in addition to that balance, if there's anything else that you found throughout your experience in this thing that we should be focused on, that we should value, that we should think are important, you know, kind of the ways that we should prioritize. That is to say, if you were to offer me or any of my friends who are trying to grow our streams and grow our communities advice from your perspective of, you know, having done this and having done it so well for so long, balance, it sounds like, among the most important bits. I'm curious if there's any other focus items that we should really, you know, lock down on and keep an eye on as we're trying to walk this path that you've already walked so successfully.
Yeah, I think one of the key thing with this is whatever you do in life is make sure you're enjoying it, right?
Huge.
A lot of times I know you will probably feel, and some of the other streamers I know they feel the same way, like, man, I don't really want to go live today, right?
Yeah.
I don't really want to. Then don't. It's fine.
Okay.
Like, it's fine, you know?
Yeah. Right.
I don't really want to do a video on this today, or I don't want to sort of worry about this. It's fine, you know? Like, you can, like, there's a goal, like, you want to be consistent, right? You'll see, and you'll hear Zerk talk about daily uploads, how he's uploaded for 4 years straight or whatever it is.
Yeah, right.
I guarantee he's talks about it, right? Just saying that now.
Yeah.
I care about having an upload every day, but it's not going to break my channel. I would rather, at this point, as I'm learning, and this is still something I'm just recently learning, it's okay to not do something. You know, I've learned that, like, at the end of the day, right? If I say I'm not going to do a video today, I don't have a really good idea, I'm just not there mentally, I won't be able to put my best foot forward or my best face forward, I'm not going to do anything.
Yeah.
Because, again, like, for me, it's like, okay, right now it's July. If I didn't do a video today, at the end of the month, when that check comes, am I going to be like, man, I really wish I would have had that $35 for this video? You get your check for $1,000 or $1,035.
Right.
You're not throwing the $1,000 like, fuck me, Jesus, I should have made more money. No, because it's barely there. Like, it's fine.
Sure.
You feel better now. Of course, it's a less, right? And obviously, a lot of people's goal is to have as much as possible. But it's okay. Like, right now, I have ideas that I want for videos, one a day until Madden comes out. That's it.
Nice.
I could do 2 a day, but I think they would be crap. So I'm not going to do it.
Reasonable.
Basically. When we start back into the Madden 22 cycle, I have different plans of what I want to do. I'm not going to try to just do crap or filler videos at times, because at times we definitely do that. We're all guilty. I mean, you just stream like, fuck, I got to stream. Okay, let me just fire it up and let me go through the process. And maybe you still have a great time in the stream and all that, but you don't know that, right? Beforehand, you have no idea. But just make sure that you're doing what you want. You know, you don't have to be consistent every day, but you have to be consistent, right? If you're doing 7 videos a week or 5 streams a week, it's okay to have 4 streams for a week.
Yeah.
At some point.
Yeah.
And it's okay to not even say anything about it. You know, when people set these schedules, which I think is helpful for people, that's why I don't set schedules for when I'm going to stream. And I never will.
Yeah.
Even if I got extremely into streaming, I would never say, oh, I'm streaming from 8 to 2. Because I know my ass, I'm going to wake up and be like, I do not want to do shit.
Right.
So I'm not going to commit to it.
Sure.
I can't. That's why, like, all you guys who stream blows me away. How you guys are able to do this. Like, me sitting here for this interview for, was it an hour and a half?
Yeah.
This isn't no gripe. But it's painful for me to sit around.
Right.
I can't. I have to always be moving. It's not an ADD thing, but if like on a Skype call at night. So say I'm on the call for 4 hours. I'm legitimately walk through my entire house twice on there.
Right.
Everyone else is sitting down playing their weekly games. They're like, oh, I'm at 8-0. I'm like, I'm at 3-0, and I've done 4 laps. I walk outside, I walk upstairs, I walk in the garage, I walk around the decks. I'm just always like, I'm always there.
Some calisthenics, a little bit of yoga, standing on some random furniture every once in a while.
I can't be still.
Totally.
It's even when I watch like TV shows, like we're starting to rewatch Dexter.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, okay, we watched one. I'm like, all right, I'll be right back.
I gotta go. I gotta stretch. I gotta move a little bit here.
And we'll come back. Okay. And even at night, like if I go down to sleep at night and for whatever reason I can't sleep, most people would sort of lay there and toss and turn. No, I get up and walk around.
Dude, oh my goodness gracious.
Because I can't. I'm like, okay, do I got to stretch? Do I got to do something? I don't know. So that's what anyone who streams for lengthy periods of time, I'm not talking like 2 hours, but when you guys stream for hours and hours and hours, subathons, God, whatever it is, I'm like, I have no clue how you do it. I could never do that. Someone says do a subathon. Good. Yep. That'll never happen. It'll never happen.
CC is like the anti-subathon. That'd be an absolute fucking hell on earth for you. That's a nightmare. From what you're telling me, don't do it. Don't even consider it. I mean, holy cow.
I would never do it.
Yeah,
I would have to cap it at an hour.
You guys can get me for 90. You won't even match the Fend interview time at 90 minutes. CC, man, this is, on my end, bro, it's getting as much free knowledge as I can from you here. I could do this for another couple hours, but, bro, I mean, the fact that you sat down with us and shared everything you did over the last 90 minutes to, a relative stranger. I know you've always supported me from the jump, but, the fact that you were down to sit with us and share some of your experience and knowledge, man, super dope. From roots in Georgia, found out about your Falcons origin story. I had no idea that kind of your first experiences were beating good players and, kind of meeting and networking through that. And, eventually the friendship with ScoMo from, 9,000 subscribers and, kind of just finding your way into the, the CC that you grew into before our eyes, man.
There's a lot more too.
Bro, that's what I'm saying. We could do this for hours.
The one thing I will say about me, right, is there's what I put on camera a lot of times is based upon the idea of my kids will see this, right? They won't see this one. They're not going to go search that much.
Sure.
But for stuff on my channel, he watches it. He shows it to his friends.
It's awesome.
So that's why, like, there's a certain level that I only get to on videos where I'm not going to rage and scream and curse and do all that sort of stuff because he watches it.
Yeah.
And I don't want him to see that, right?
Totally.
So there's the other side where I'm maybe not like the most energetic person in those places, but outside of that, like real me, it's totally different. And I feel like no one really knows that, it's still weird to me, like you guys will say, see the comments like legend go, like, I don't think of any of that stuff because to me, I'm still just a completely normal person and always will be.
For sure.
That's why even when someone jokes about like being Hollywood, I'm like, what
does that even mean?
No.
Yeah, right.
Like me, like, right. No. Like I if I ran into anyone, we're at a bar or whatnot, I'd be like, let's drink, let's have a good time.
Hell yeah, right.
That's where you're like, would you talk to me? It's like, yeah, sure.
Totally.
I've done, lots of these things actually with other people too. Whoever wants to talk to me, as long as I can find the time, is great.
Totally. And it's just this idea that like CC, you got to understand that like you want the people who you enjoy watching the content, someone like you who puts out content that we all enjoy, like you want that person. It's like an actor or something. If you met like an actor and again, I'm not helping the Hollywood analogy, but it's like you want them to be
I get it.
Like the personable, good people, like the type of thing where it's like I feel like I could be friends. Like if CC like lived down the road from me, like I'd love to drink beers with you. You know what I mean?
And we would.
Hell yeah, right? Yeah, I think we
hung out with McCullough. That's fair. And that's totally fair. He was there. But no, like that's just, it's a difference of getting to really know people a lot, and sometimes it's really, really hard. And even on like Twitter, social media, and all that, a lot of it is just like being playful, right?
Yeah. Right.
Whether it's stuff about the Saints, and even though I really don't like the Saints,
Jerry Rice,
or it's the whole Jerry Rice saga, which maybe one day people will figure it out. We'll find out. There's a couple people that know. But at this point, everyone wants to know. Is like, no, I'm not going to tell you.
Right? Yeah.
Like, no, we're not gonna cover this. We're gonna leave this to be a thing. Like, good luck.
To be honest with you, I had it written down, and I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna ask. I think I actually kind of like the mystique about the Jerry Rice thing, bro.
It's not even anything crazy, but it's just a thing, you know. Like,
for sure.
That's just great, and I love being able to help interact, and I try to interact with people as much as I can.
I think you do a great job.
The best thing best thing you can see from me is if you are tweeting at me, or you've tweeted something to me, or trying to have a conversation with me on Twitter, or more specifically Twitter, or if I'm on Twitch, you just got assume at that point, if I'm responding or doing anything, no one's around. Right? Because if I'm around the kids or something like that, phone's not there.
For sure.
Right?
Love that.
Because like I mean I used to get in so much trouble for that. So it's like you need to like leave your phone, like put your phone down on the counter and then watch TV instead of watching TV with the phone in your lap, right?
Totally.
So yeah, so if I ever don't respond, it's never an ignore. It's just like I just didn't see it.
And I'm literally just spending time with my family.
Yeah, and sometimes we get so many mentions and stuff on there that like I'm sorry, I'm not scrolling back through everything sometimes.
Totally.
Like
every once in a while, you gotta mute that conversation.
I'm quickly checking.
Right.
Yeah, and that's why I missed stuff. And I forget who it was. Vose when he was this week. He was like, "Oh, so you're gonna follow me now?" And I was like, I don't even check that shit.
Right.
You know, I don't. I couldn't tell you who I follow or don't follow. If someone's like, "You don't follow me," like, you know what? I see your shit on my timeline.
Right. Yeah. So, I didn't check, so it's. I mean, we're still tapped in with each other.
Right. I don't do that, so it's like, just tell me. That's fine. Like, okay. Right. I don't check stuff like that.
Checkmark Vose is also a fucking menace to society, though. An actual fucking menace, and nobody needed that. None of us needed Vose with a verified Twitter account with fucking 4,000. Give me a break, dude. Are you kidding me? Goodness gracious.
Right, and so it's like when I came in here, and it was what, last week, 2 weeks ago. It was like, I followed him. It was like, if just follow. It's like Twitch, the same thing.
All right.
I don't. The people I follow on Twitch, I just don't think about it. If I pop into someone's stream or something, I see it up there.
Yeah.
Like I'm not the person that uses the, call it Friends tab or whatever it would be on there.
Right.
I just click on Madden.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Like,
me too.
Because to me, I'm like, who's streaming Madden? Right. Because like, no offense, as much as I love other people, like I don't check, like if is W streaming MLB? I don't know. I'm kind of want to watch Madden.
Yeah, fair.
Like, to me, that's what I want to watch, and I want to watch the people I watch, and I love watching people and going into streams, and that's why I like when I like to raid people, is just people who I don't know.
Yeah.
You could always raid the biggest person on there, or try to help build cloud, or whatever it may be. But I always think, to me, like, and that's sort of how, like, when I rated Chew and all that, it was like I didn't really know who he was.
Yeah.
I saw this guy streaming with a face cam on. Had to have been some random ass time if I'm getting offline.
Right.
I was like, we'll rate him.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, what's up? Sure. Let's do it. And then you see, like, that making people have those moments is incredible to me. They're way more appreciative than anything like that. Like, if you could, they remember that, and it's not just remembering it for me. Like, oh, CC did a good thing. I don't care that it was me. You had a good day. You had a good moment. You brightened up your day. Whatever it is, I'm cool with it, right? You don't gotta do it back to me. You don't gotta come back and sub back to me. I don't care about that at all, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, do I like when people sub to the channel? I'm sure you do too. You know, it's helpful. We got to pay bills.
We don't mind.
But I ain't never going to ask nobody to do it.
For sure.
Never. Ever, 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 ever. Because you're here.
This has been fucking amazing, and I'm sure, and I think you've pretty much left it all out on the table here. I just want to be respectful of your time, and we're creeping up an hour 40 here. I could do this all day. Is there anything, sir, that you feel like? I know, agreed. Cease is like, okay, Cease is getting antsy.
I'm a fucking talker.
It's a fucking beautiful thing, man. Made my job so easy this morning. But what I was asking, is there anything that we didn't touch on? Anything like you thought I would ask, or anything that you would just kind of like to leave the channel with here before I let you get on for the rest of your day and do? I mean, I'm sure you're owed about 6 laps for your legs right now, so you're welcome for the little afternoon calorie burn there, brother CC. But is there anything that we missed?
There's probably thousands of things we missed.
For sure, yeah.
No, I mean, you tell me anyone. I'll give you guys one more question. You can be from you, stream, whatever.
I think I like it. I like going to the stream.
We'll leave it open.
It's got to be a good one. All right, chat.
It's got to be good. Yeah, not crap.
Yeah, no, we're skipping crap ones. So don't fucking type in the channel if it's some dumbass shit. But if you actually have a real, genuine, thoughtful question for our man CC, you got a minute or so to drop it in here. We got ScoMo TK hanging out. I saw Noah in the channel. That's super dope. What's up, Noah? Your boy Tonio follow, Milton with the follow, Fritzy, Mo, Slayer. One question for the rest of our lives, Slayer. That's right. Brooks, what's up, Oreo?
I don't know if I've ever played Noah. I'll be honest, I don't think Noah's someone I want to play either.
No, I'm not gonna lurk him. I'll put it that way. I might be in a
No.
Give me a break. No, Kep, that's not the one. We just talked about we just talked about leaving a legacy that your kids could go through and watch all of. They'd have to scroll pretty far in the algorithm to get down to all the the tens of views that I have on my VODs that I leave on YouTube here. You know what I'm saying?
So this is not a good one, but do I read YouTube comments? Yeah, I try. I miss some, but I try.
One piece of it, that's not a bad one. That's like that kind of plays into what we were asking. That's not a bad one though, Nogs. One piece of advice for your former self. I mean, we got a good picture of how he's learned about balance and adapted that. Yeah, right. Kept jumping in both feet. Crazy. That's Durs. I think that's a good one. It maybe low hanging fruit a little bit, but we didn't even touch. I don't know. Not because I don't think it's as important as the rest of the things that we talked about. My man Durs with 100 bits wants to know one thing he hopes to see in Madden 22. I guess we really didn't talk about that all too much.
I don't know if it's content, MUT, gameplay. I just want a fun game.
Yeah. Yeah.
I trust the MUT team for the most part. People in charge and do all that. So
Cynical, the Zerk friendship. That's also not a bad one. What was it? Well, here specifically, what was it like linking up? I seen like pictures of you guys. It looked like, I don't know, would you descend on ScoMo's house? What was it? You, and ScoMo and Zerk and Poodle or something like this, right?
Yeah. Yeah, Poodle was there.
Yeah, was that
Everyone
fun?
knows that.
Was that a
no? It was a good night. It was a good night.
Cool.
It's like I said, it's always just good to meet people, and especially not everyone you meet or will meet is going to blow you away,
right?
And be like, man, this is great,
right?
True
indeed, yeah.
Because there's quite a few people. I'm not just talking about YouTubers. Some of the people on the competitive side and all that. You see them, meet them, and it's like, I guess we are not going to be friends, really.
Yeah, right. Cool. Like I respect everything you're doing,
because you ain't like you don't got to be friends with everyone at all.
Right.
Zerk I like
or ScoMo? Does Zerk or ScoMo drip harder? Were you feeling the Zerk Looney Tune shorts bit with the white shoes and the long socks, and then ScoMo returned fire too? So I think Dubby was hating on ScoMo's club a little bit. I got to be honest with you. He was leaning Zerk actually dripping harder than ScoMo. I'm gonna keep a weekly tally. CC, what do you think, bro? Are you taking your boy ScoMo in the drip off or young Zerk?
I'm no fashion statement.
Fucking me neither, dude.
Like, I'll say the truth. I wouldn't have worn either of them. So, yeah, right. But like, as for like what the purpose is, now I'll say like to me, right?
Right.
ScoMo is married. Zerk is not.
True indeed. If
I was going out looking right? I wouldn't have gone out looking like that.
Okay, fair enough.
Dirk. But maybe he's not. Like, I don't know. Maybe he's just going shopping, right? If you're going just to the mall, like.
No, I think he was out. I think he was out. I mean, it seemed like he was probably out hunting, as it were.
Well, he was. He was in Vegas, but I know Zerk that like what I know enough that what his scene and what is not his scene is.
Sure, yeah.
It's like he's not joining up with Maze going to the club.
right.
like I know that's not a scene, right? So I'm not gonna be like, oh, why would you wear that to the club, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, so like it depends where he's going and doing, like,
for sure.
Clothes drip. I don't give a shit. You know?
Give me a nice, good, well-fitting hoodie, and CC's gonna be all right with the hoodie.
Right? No, I just have a bunch of them. Like it's summertime, and be like, oh my god, aren't you hot? And be like, I think I wear this outside.
Yeah, when you fucking, I get that all the time too. Like, well, wherever I'm at, it must be cold.
There's a closet right there. There's my closet right there. A full closet of clothes.
I got AC blasting on me, a fan on my feet, dude. I'm prepared. I can wear a hoodie if I want to. You know what I mean?
Right. No, like in the winter, sure, but otherwise, like no.
Hell yeah, CC. I gotta tell. Okay, I gotta tell you.
No.
I'll even also say it in front of ScoMo. ScoMo's gonna hold my feet to the fire on this tomorrow. ScoMo, listen, bro. I'm sorry, but I have to be honest. I have to be honest with CC. I think I found CC's channel off of I think it was a popular stranger, like you might also like. So I'm clicking around and I start to get into this, and I gotta be honest with you. I've always rooted for CC in the bundle battles. I'll say it.
You should. Everyone should.
I'll say what I said. ScoMo, I'm sorry, bro. I love you, and I developed even stronger of a love for you as time went on, and I got and then I'm like, well, who the fuck is this? Who is CC competing against? This guy's a little bit louder. I don't know. He doesn't seem as smooth with a V. You know what I mean? Who is this guy? Popped over to ScoMo. And I wind up loving ScoMo also, but I don't know if he'll cancel the interview tomorrow. He's pissed. Yeah. Says bullshit. No, he's disgusted.
He's fine.
Fuck that up, CC. But I mean, in the interest of being honest with you, I root for CC, man. I root for CC in the bundle battles. Mo.
Here's the thing.
I'm sorry.
Here's the thing. Nobody likes a loser.
Oh no. Right? CC, I gotta cut you off. I'm gonna have to cut your mic. I got an important interview tomorrow. I can't do this. I was willing to, on its surface.
He's
let him know.
Fine. He's fine. He knows. I mean, shit. We both know, like the craziness with it too. I forget if someone tweeted it at us, but like, despite the discrepancy in records for the year, a point difference is like 18 or something like that. I know. He saw it too. It's like it's super crazy close total points.
That's actually fucking nuts.
Yeah, and it was that way last year too. Like, it's we know it's all luck, but
a little bit. But now I see the light, and I root for everyone to be successful, right? But yeah, before I took up that soft ass shit, I said, CC, beat this motherfucker's ass. His cards suck. He's not the bundle king at all, man. Best team in Madden. What are we talking about? CC, man, I feel like you're both restless and a talker, so I am gonna do you. I hope the service, brother, of cutting you right the heck off, man. CC, I mean, seriously, a pleasure and an honor for just shy of 2 hours of time of you sharing your experience and the things that you've learned, and hopefully we don't got to learn them because you've sat here with us and shared so much of it, man. I've been a fan, been a supporter. I know that might make you feel weird and uneasy, but it's just the truth of the matter. And after talking to you for so long, but everything I felt and thought and hoped about you as a dude, I feel even more so now, bro. You're for a guy that just in the interest of supporting me and the community and what I'm trying to do. The fact that you sat down for shy of 2 hours with me is fucking remarkable, and that's not lost on me, and I'm very, very grateful and very appreciative, and I think the chat is too, brother.
I know, I appreciate it. I appreciate everyone coming by and all that, and said I play again. It's all about the plan. I planned ahead. I recorded all these videos for the week already, so
legend. So I'm not even jamming you up too hard then.
No, everything's done. I just gotta hit the button.
CC, man,
playing. That's how you. That's what you do.
Here we are.
I plan my week out every week.
Fucking legend in the channel, boys. Man,
Mondays are.
I have been Fend. This has been the actual CC. I mean, if you don't know him yet, holy cow, make sure you tap in with my man CC. Thank you so much again for your time, bro, for the knowledge, the free mental gems that you're dropping all the way through. Go ahead, get to walking around, man. Stretch the legs out. I got to use the restroom too.
I'm going to go run around real quick.
Hell yeah, right. CC, you're a legend, bro. Thank you again for your time, man. Big love from Fend and the congregation.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it so much.
Hell yeah, right.